What's up, Pep Nation? I'm feeling good. I'm a little bit sore. I got Chad back in here, our trainer Usama, and we got the man, the myth, Dante Richards. He thought I trained him yesterday. I want to experience what it is that they do in the gym. So we're here today. We're going to be working on our knee dominant exercises with our upper body push-pull, and it's all vertical. So we're actually getting a lot of work in today. I can't wait to see what he's got prescribed to us. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, guys, so today in day 2 of our lifting day, what we're going to be doing is predominantly knee dominant and then vertical push-pull stuff for the upper body. Now, this warm-up here has 3 components. The first component is we want to inhibit any overactive muscle tissue that's kind of been causing injuries or causing any problems for these guys, predominantly around the legs, because that's the main area of issue. We also worked on the lats and the chest. After that soft tissue work, went ahead and did a dynamic warm-up. Now, this dynamic warm-up wasn't specific to the workout because we are just lifting today. However, we needed to get that heart rate up, so that's what the dynamic warm-up was for. And then finally, what we want to do is some mobilization work to make sure that all the joints are mobile, agile, and ready to attack this workout. All right, guys, so here's our third component of that warm-up. Now, it is an extensive one because we are in the general prep phase. We want to make sure that their bodies are right before we attack them. Now, with this, what we're trying to do is open out every joint and mobilize every joint that is used in the squat, in the overhead press, in the pull-ups, and all the lifts that we're about to use today. Now, next thing is we're going to go straight onto the squat. We're going to do a little bit of activation work, and we're ready to go. So in our assessment of Shay, we figured out that on both the right leg and the left leg, the hamstrings are a little bit overactive compared to the glutes. And the lower back is working a little bit more than it should be. So what we're trying to do here before we get to the working sets of the squat, while we're warming up with the squat, we're really trying to activate those glutes using that glute bridge. It's a 5-second hold at the top. He's doing 5 reps, then going straight into the squat warm-up. He's really trying to feel those glutes engage as he squats. All right, guys, so our first exercise here, the squat. The back squat, it's a staple in every single athletic program. The reason it's a staple is because it's great for vertical power displacement and improving that as well. It's great for loading the spine in a controlled environment to make sure that we can load our spine properly. And it's a great exercise for lower body power as well. That's what I've picked out. We're doing, again, general prep. So we're going 3 sets of 10 reps at around about 67 to 70% of Shay and everyone else's 1 rep max. So let's go get it. All right, guys, so next was our upper body workout. So we did our upper body push-pull in the vertical direction with a little bit of frontal plane work as well, and that was in the accessories. But I'm first going to talk about the reason that we did the pull-ups and the reason that we did the dumbbell overhead press. So with the dumbbell overhead press, the sets were very simple, 3 sets of 10. The reason we're doing this, again, we're in a general prep phase, so we want to build that muscular endurance and strength endurance to get themselves ready for the real program when we get started in a couple of weeks. The pull-ups were there. We actually aimed for, we were talking about 3 sets of 12, but we aimed for 36 reps in total. Now, this is the difference. This is called volume load. And for a lift like the pull-ups, which is usually so difficult for a lot of people, even for high-level guys like these guys, the reason we went for 36 reps in total as opposed to doing 3 sets of 12 is because if you get tired after 8 reps, you want to make sure that you're still hitting that same volume so the overall strength gained is the same as if you were to do 3 sets of 12. So you can do that in whatever combination gets you to that 36 reps. What we did is we did a couple of sets of 8, then we finished off with a couple of sets of 4, and a couple of sets of 3, and then we were all good to go, and that's how we did our pull-ups. Pull-ups are great for every single sport, and it's also great for sprinting mechanics because as you pull that shoulder down, you're using your lat to bring that down. So we want to create some force, create some muscle cross-sectional area so that force can be developed in those lats. And that's a really nice pairing to make sure that we get the most out of the session in a very short time. So our last and final exercise here for this day 2 of general prep in the gym was a lunge going forward with a lateral raise. Now, I talked about frontal plane work. We want to make sure that we think of our muscles or our bodies as athletes as moving in different planes. We want to think less in terms of training a muscle and more in terms of training a movement. And now what we did with that lunge and the lateral raise complex was we're working on that lower body strength and stability with the lunge, which is great, again, for sprinting mechanics, for all of that kind of stuff. And we also worked on the lateral raise at the same time for a little bit of cross-body stability and also making sure that we're working in all planes that the shoulder moves in. We did the overhead press. Now we're doing the lateral raise to work on the frontal plane strength. All right, guys, and now what we're working on here is just opening out Shay, Chad, and Dante a little bit. We did a lot of shoulder work, overhead, pull-ups, that kind of stuff, the lateral raises. The reason that we want to work on making sure that they're nice and open is because the shoulder joint being a very complex joint, musculature from both sides affects it, and we need to use that to prevent injury. That's why we're doing a little bit of soft tissue work at the end. We're spending a little bit more time really getting in on those knots and making sure that that shoulder is nice and open and free in order to recover, but also to make sure that the shoulder stays nice and mobile all the way throughout this program.